I will be here painting these fish, and I'm so excited to have you here. This is a work in progress, and I am going to lift my camera. It seems like it's a little too low. Okay, just getting situated here. Perfect. All right. Cool. Here we go. So this is my newest painting. I've been working on it for the last 2 evenings, and it just came to me in a vision. I was laying in bed and I thought, well, first of all, I am a Pisces, but I was just thinking about fish and I was thinking about stars. I'm always conceptualizing new ideas for new sets and such, and there is a paper mache fish that I really want to make, a really big one. So this is kind of bringing me closer to doing that. And so I decided, let me paint the constellation. So here we are. Last night I painted all these scales in both of the fish. And now I'm going to work on the tails. And maybe I'll make it over to the fins. And maybe I'll even have a show and tell of other paintings that I've worked on. I have to get up and get those. Or they might be behind the sofa. Let me just see real quick. I'm in my pajamas. Really cozy solar eclipse day. Just been journaling and taking in the magic of the sun and focusing on all of the lessons I learned in the last 2 years when these eclipses started. I've went through major transformation and I truly shed a lot of skins. I learned a lot of lessons and I'm excited to take those lessons and learnings into practice for the future. I feel stronger and more energized and more like me than I ever have. So anyways, I thought, why not take this really good positive energy and share it and put it into a painting and hold discussions with any of you guys that would like to see what's going on in my world and have a chat. Okay, let me see if I can find these paintings. It might be on the other side of my couch. Oh, they're all the way over there. I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. So the funny thing is, yesterday morning, kind of everything was falling apart and it started right in the beginning of the day. And I dropped an entire cup of hot coffee on my couch. So I washed the cushions and they're outside drying. So I'm literally sitting on like the bones of the sofa on the bottom part, but whatever, you gotta make do with whatever. And I'm just, you know, still comfortable. So I did get my other paintings, and I'm happy to show those off a little bit later, but I'm gonna get started. I've brought one of my favorite snacks with me. Now, I grew up eating those chocolate covered jelly rings, and they are, they look like tiny little baby chocolate frosted donuts. And they come in like raspberry flavor and orange flavor. Trader Joe's has dark chocolate orange sticks, and they also have seasonally in the summer the watermelon ones, and those are my favorite. Wow, they're so good. But these taste almost identical to the ones I grew up eating, and they've become one of my favorite treats. A lot of people don't like them. They're very old-fashioned, and I don't know. I don't care. I love them. And they have the rings on Amazon, so every now and again during the holidays, I'll treat myself to a box of raspberry jelly rings because I love that shit. Okay. Hoping some people join and see what's up, and we can have some conversations. Until then, I'm going to start with this tail, the bigger part of it. Now I have the outlined. I'll go over it with darker white once I have everything kind of planned out. And I'm deciding I'm gonna use these like little flower petals that I like to draw, and they always come out different. So instead of laying out the map, I've only mapped out the shape of the fish and the cord that combines them. Everything else is drawn with my paintbrush, freehand, which I feel like is better than mapping out, because it's best if the things like this and these little designs are imperfect. And usually when you map something out, it's meant to be perfect. I like to keep my work imperfect. It's just a preference. I like that scale is a little bit jagged and that scale is like wide, and you know, you can see all the little imperfections, and I think, you know, I just like that better. It makes me feel good. Because nobody's perfect, you guys, and we just have to deal with the consequence of that. So I am gonna start here and make the first petal. Painting has been helping me with my anxiety that I've been having lately. It's been really hard getting work here in Los Angeles. Some of the seeds I've planted are starting to perk out of the soil, just like a little peekaboo. So that's good news. But I still have been going through a lot of anxiety. So, you know, when you have anxiety, you learn how to work with it instead of against it. And when you're young and you don't know what's going on, you don't know how to tame those sorts of feelings, you kind of work against it and make things worse, and it creates a lot of tension in your relationships, unless you're like me and you're kind of secretive about it. But as I get older, I have learned how to deal with it. And if I'm feeling anxious, I know how to work with it rather than let it destroy me. And it might take all day, but it's better than just melting into the ground and falling into depression, which is also something that I'm very familiar with. So what I usually do is I sit in the sun. The sun usually helps. I'll journal. I'll take a bath, a nice long hot bath, which I'll either just listen to music with my eyes closed. I'll bring an ice cold juice with maybe an ice cube in it and maybe a little bath snack. And sometimes I'll draw in the bath, sometimes I'll journal. Recently, I just watched TV for the first time in the bath. I brought my laptop and I watched a couple episodes of. I've been rewatching Lost. So that helped me focus on something other than what I was going through and the feelings I was feeling. Just a little escape. Sometimes I use the bath as an office and I'll put creative decks together for jobs. Sometimes I'll even take calls in the bath if it's just a voice call, a nice audio call. Yeah, so the bath helps. Sometimes cooking like a delicious meal, that'll help because it's something to look forward to and then you get to sit down and eat it. So there's a high reward. And of course, being creative and painting is certainly something that helps as well. And so I have been painting quite a bit lately and dealing with my anxiety in that way and all the other ways I just stated. And I'm already creative every day, anxiety lists or anxiety driven. And art has just become a lifestyle for me. So I do art every single day. And maybe it's just for a half an hour, or maybe it's for the whole day, or maybe it's just the wind down at night. But I do fit it in on the daily. I also have a practice of drawing before bed almost every night for the last at least 15 years. It's really nice. Sometimes I know what I'm going to draw, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm adding to drawings for an entire week. And sometimes, again, it's like 20 minutes or maybe it's 2 hours. It really depends on what's going on in my life and this morning I sat outside in the sun. I missed the eclipse because I let myself sleep in today. That's another gift, you know, when you're going through stressful times, you just let you be easy to yourself. And allowed myself to sleep in, so I woke up around 8:45, I believe. So I just missed the eclipse. But the energy was really strong, so I just did the things I needed to do and I got outside by about, I don't know, 10 after 9, maybe a little earlier. And just sat out there with a cup of coffee, a cup of water. My dog was doing his morning circles and on the patio, and I journaled for probably 2 hours. I was out there, and the sun felt so nice. It wasn't very strong, but it had this softness to it, and it was really warm. And all the birds were out chirping. It was so beautiful. And then the parrots, I don't know if you guys, if you don't live in Los Angeles, you don't know about the parrots, but there's flocks of parrots that fly around and they're so loud. They're so funny. They're like the chattiest birds. You know when they're around. They're so, so loud and chatty. And they fly in flocks. So this flock was 8 deep and they were gossiping up a storm. So I was listening to like these beautiful little baby birds chirping about. They're like a little bit bigger than a hummingbird. They were so cute. They were just hopping from branch to branch. And they were singing so beautifully. And then these chatty parrots just flew right over us. And they took the show, you know? They're so funny. I remember the first time I met them when I moved here to LA, I was like, what is going on? I didn't understand, and then someone told me that, I don't know if this is a myth, but someone's parrots got loose and then they just kind of mated, and there's now just like this whole community of parrots in Los Angeles. I like to believe stories like that because they're funny and kind of imaginative, and you let your imagination take its course with that. How it happened, what the person was doing while they were escaping, like the whole thing. It's just silly. So yeah, I was just taking in the sun this morning, and I wrote down so many lessons. I knew that it was going to be a long journal because in the last 2 years especially, holy cow, it's been really hard, and I've just have been paying attention to why it's been hard and what I've been doing and how I've been growing, how I've been perceiving things, what I need to pay attention to, all those things. It's part of growth, right? You got to pay attention. So it was really quite a journal drop. But it felt so good as I was writing these lessons. Like, I feel so lucky to have gone through everything that I went through because I'm so much stronger and I feel more like me than I ever have. And I know, like, when I find my partner, I'm gonna be my best self, and it's gonna be a really beautiful thing for both of us. So that's cool. It's cool when you realize your own growth and kind of reward yourself with that. And I'm gonna now go over here and work this way because this is quite a moment in this tale. Trying to think of what I can do with the rest of my day. So I'm feeling like I'm working with this eclipse magic. My friend was doing spring cleaning and that was a really good idea, but I don't know if I can manage that right now. I know it is good for stress, but it could also bring on more stress because you're like, what am I doing with all these things? And I'm not sure if that's something I want to tackle right now. but I do need to do some spring cleaning very soon. I really need to get into my shed. I built a shed and filled it up with props and tools and materials and antique things that I brought from New York that I don't have any room for in the house. So I need to go through it and get rid of some shit, guys. I keep a lot of props and it makes some jobs easier, especially low budget ones. But I feel like I need to cleanse myself of some of these props and make room for things that matter. So I can declutter my house again for the things that are piling up in here. I am a maximalist, but not to this degree. So I gotta make room in that shed to put in some of these props. Make it more accessible. Right now I have to take things out to get into the shed, and I'm not liking that. What I really need is a studio space, like an art studio. But times are tough, so art studio still in the living room, and storing things in my half bathroom, in my hallway, behind me in this living room. I have a nook with a curtain that I've been putting things behind. And of course the shed, so it just is what it is right now. You gotta work with what you have and keep going, pushing forward, believing that things will happen when they're supposed to, and never stopping just because you don't have the art studio. I think it was the best decision I ever made, was saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make this anyways. Fuck it, I'm gonna do the shoots in my house. Fuck it, I'm gonna paint in my house. You know? Hey, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking make these cactus sculptures. So, don't let anything stop you from creating. Like needing the most expensive material, needing an artist studio to make art. You know, use what you have. You can find anything around the house or garbage, whatever it is, really. I save all my Amazon boxes and I use that for my paper mache sculptures. I save all of my, I get weekly coupons, like newspaper type stuff for grocery stores and stuff on a weekly basis. I save all of those, and that paper becomes paper for my paper mache. I've been saving for probably a year or two. You know when you buy onions or lemons and they come in that netted bag? Potatoes too. I've been saving all those netted bags and I want to do something really cool with them. Just stocking them up. Every flower I receive from my friends or for set, I keep and I dry. Those are piling up waiting for a project. You really can make something from what you have. And if you don't know what you can make from something that you have, I can help you figure that out. Or if you have an idea and don't know how to make it, I can suggest some things. I'm a production designer in the film industry, and a big part of my job, I've not worked one single job where I didn't have to do this. Solution solve. It's so important for me to be able to come up with 3 solutions right in the get, right in the weeds, for new ways of doing things. And it's a great skill to have. I'm so happy I have that skill and that muscle in my brain that's capable of doing that. And it's not only good for me, it's good for the people around me. Always spitting solutions with friends, with colleagues. It's helpful. It's a helpful trait. And it's really important for me. Just going over with more white. Letting it dry, and then I'll go over again because we're painting over black. And I put a little bit of water into my white paint so it's not completely solid, but that just helps me paint it smoother. I like a smooth paint for some things, and this is one of them. So we're gonna go back over here. I'm actually gonna get a slightly bigger brush to get these bigger moments. Truly feel like things are about to change. I'm not going to be struggling like I have been. Things are going to open up. I'm already getting work. I worked on a music video last weekend. This weekend I'm working on a commercial. And then mid-April I'm booked for a documentary doing like flashbacks and sets within the flashbacks. I had another meeting with another documentary crew that's looking to film late summer, early fall. And that was a really lovely conversation. Those men were so nice and creative and had fantastic ideas. It was so nice to meet with them. And I'm also working with this man who owns a warehouse that has vertical sets built within. So you walk into a warehouse and you've got a police station. You've got a jail cell. You have a castle built with inside. A couple living rooms. A locker room. A classroom. There's so many sets within this warehouse, so I'm helping him reimagine some spaces. He just got brand new spaces, so he wants me to kind of visualize what to do with these new spaces. We're gonna be making, in one of the new spaces, he got 2 new spaces. One new space, we're doing like CEO, office, conference room, maybe a couple bedrooms, a lobby area, a waiting room. that'll be nice. And his business is exactly what I've been conceptualizing for my own business for many a years. So it's a great person to work with and partner with and see what comes of it in the future. Okay, we have to let that dry actually. That looks cool. Let's take a peek. There we go. That's nice. Look at that. That's super cool. And then it can also read like that. Or it can read like that. It's a versatile piece. You can hang it however you see it. So basically this tail will have the same thing, but it'll be different shapes because it's a different shaped tail. And the back will be, there's going to be big stars on the connecting cord, and then around it will be kind of galaxy dots and maybe like some planets and some glowing dots, and they'll act as if they're stars. Actually, I have let me go through my little Rolodex of paintings over here. I have something that's similar. You see how the eye is in space? There's a planet. Wait, where's the planet? Is that the planet? You see how some of the stars glow? That's exactly it. That's how the back is gonna look. With this, just like that. Isn't that gonna be cool? I love it. Alright, while that is drying, I think I will do this one now. And I just want to make sure I'm not going to run into smudging that one. Okay, just getting my smaller brush again. I like using very fine-tipped brushes, just like I do the same with pens. I use the Micron 005s. So when I paint, I like to paint like I draw. So it's helpful to start out fine. And then if I feel like I want to use a thicker brush, I have those as well. I made myself a beautiful breakfast after sitting out there under that sun. I had avocado toast, and then I made a potato hash, onions, potatoes, kielbasa, and some spices. I used oregano and cayenne pepper, paprika, salt, pepper, and I also crushed a clove of black garlic, which was a birthday present. One of my friends got me a whole bulb of fresh black garlic, which is quite the gift. It's a gift that keeps on giving, so I used it for my hash. And I made extra potatoes so I can really pop into that whenever I want. I can have potatoes for dinner or a potato snack. I also have chicken marsala in the fridge. I made 4 days worth of chicken marsala a couple nights ago. I have 2 more nights left of that. And what else do I have? I have a thing of rice that I made. I could really have like a rice bowl with some potatoes. I have half an avocado left, some tomatoes. I also made a big salad, and I don't dress my salad until I'm ready to eat it, so that's good for a couple days too. Nice simple salad. Always delicious. Last night I made a really good mustard, like a Dijon mustard lemon dressing, like a vinaigrette. That shit, it was so good. You see how it's different because they're different shapes, but isn't it cool? I knew this would be a good idea. I love when you have an idea and it just all comes together as you put it together. Because it was just fish is what I envisioned. I didn't know what they were gonna look like. I didn't know how I was gonna design them or paint them. 2 fish combined by a cord, and it's coming together. Slow and steady. Hmm. I'm quietly thinking about what I'm gonna do after I'm done painting this. And I haven't decided yet. I do need to sign all my paintings. I painted all the backs of these boards black the other day, except for this one because this one's brand new. I just started painting on it. So maybe I'll sign all the backs of my paintings, and maybe I'll put a coat of varnish on top to seal them. I keep putting that off and it needs to get done. So I think I should do that. Okay, let's see. Another one going that way. Why not? It's a better shape. Been thinking about scanning all these paintings and selling prints. You know, why not? Wouldn't hurt to do that. This one I think I'm gonna miss. There's a couple of them that I'm gonna miss when they go. But I'm also learning that I can paint more than one of the same thing. They'll turn out slightly different, but that's the beauty of this, is I can make the same thing over and over again. It'll have different imperfections and be slightly different, but the same. These little shapes almost remind me of paisley and also other 70s shaped florals. Long, slender, Art Nouveau. I love Art Nouveau so much. It's so beautiful. Alphonse Mucha, I think is how you say his name, is one of my favorite. He's the one that kind of started posters and used to draw all those Art Nouveau gypsy women. And he made calendars, he did posters. I think he got started in theater scenic painting. There is a museum in Prague that I've wanted to go to my whole life to see his artwork in person. And I truly hope I get to go one day and see his work because it's so beautiful. I have a coffee table book of his, and I have a big poster of his framed in my bedroom of one of my favorite drawings he's done, or painting even. Once I'm done going over this for the second time, I'm going to revisit the other side and paint that as well. I like painting live. I'm realizing it helps me focus. I'm not distracted, like I've come here to do something and I'm doing it. Sometimes when I'm painting alone, I'll paint a little bit, I'll look at my phone, I'll paint a little bit more, I'll look out the window. But this painting live really helps me just stay focused and do what I sought out to do. So it's helping me. This is gonna need a third layer. I'm already feeling better, you guys. Anxiety is lifting. Okay. Now while that dries, you see? Here we go. So cool. I love that. I still have to do this and this, which I just plan to do like a fan. Just lines, kind of like a little Art Deco fan. Those noises are, well, some of it is outside, someone's weed whacking. And then my landlord is having some shelves being installed upstairs in her unit. So we have a drill going on up there. We have a weed whacker going on outside, but I kind of love the white noise of both of them. It's just like the overall sense of busyness and people doing things. I love it. There's life all around us, you guys. You can't be mad at it. I saw a TikTok yesterday, and it cracked me up. It was this guy, and he was like, I don't mean to be selfish, but how come every time I go to the grocery store, people gotta be there at the same time as me? Anytime I want to go to the park, there's people there the same time as me. Don't they know I need to go grocery shopping in peace? Don't they know I want to be able to do what I want to do without them there? Why are they always at the same place as me at the same time? And it was just funny, like, it's obviously comedy, but it's like, well, I can also relate too, because I'm from New York, and I lived in New York City for a long time. And that's why I moved to Los Angeles, to get away from all the people. Because you step outside of your apartment and you are literally surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands, of people immediately. You don't even have a second to enjoy outside alone. But it is funny because it's like, well, they had to do that at the same time as you too. Because there's other people in this world and we all have shit to do. We gotta eat. We gotta do this, we gotta do that. But I saved the video because it made me laugh. Okay. Well, that needs to dry. And then I need to go over it a third time. I love tackling these paintings. Sometimes I get scared to do anything to them and they sit for a long time, but you just gotta tackle them and deal with what you're afraid of. I'm always like, ugh, my art's gonna suck, or I'm gonna do a bad job, or it's gonna come out like shit. But whatever, man. Who cares, right? And then look, it comes out really cool. It's coming out cool. Can't be mad at that. You know what I mean? Can't be mad at that. Alright guys, this has to dry and I'm going to give another coat on those petals, and I've got other things to do, so thanks for joining me for a little work in progress painting, and I'll come back and do more of these. Have a good day!